Good evening to the one Gauntlet person that's going to watch this again. It is Monster of the Week, Hexco, the big business, monotonous bureaucracy contrasted with fun monster fighting. I will get everyone to introduce themselves, and what we're going to say this time, and I'll go first so you can even see what it's going to be like, is we're going to say who we are, pronouns, etc. And we're also going to say what we're excited about, why we joined this game, why we signed up to this one, what enticed us. As like a set of early flags, it's going to be awesome. So, for example, my name's Sid, he, him pronouns. I was really enticed to this because I want to see the really like mundane side. My favorite parts of Buffy is always like when she has to run back to high school, or the one episode where she gets a job at a fast food place. So that was kind of where this whole thing sprung from. Let's go left to right in name supremacy order, which means Haley, you start us off.
Awesome. I am Haley. My pronouns are she, her. And I was excited to play this game because since I became a freelancer, I haven't had enough corporate monotony in my life. So I really felt the need to hark back. No, I also love the innate hilariousness of the contrast between something being very corporate and formal and something also being life-threatening and dire. Kind of like paranoia, I guess. So I dig that.
You guys can just continue on, or I can keep reading names. Lauren.
I don't know which order I'm in because I always appear on the right.
Oh, you do? Sorry. Yeah, so we'll have to introduce people. Lauren, you go.
Hi, I'm Lauren. She, her pronouns. And I am here pretty much because you know that like one episode of Parks and Recreation where like Ben Wyatt gets the Batman suit and he's like living his best life in the Batman suit. I'm here to play Ben Wyatt living his best life in his Batman suit. So that's why I'm here.
All right, spot on. Lou.
Hey, Lou. I use he, him pronouns. I'm largely here just because I wanted to play with all of you people, and I look like a really nice bunch of people to play with. And I've never played this game before. And I've kind of had some. I've always called a big part of my life is fighting brave battles against bureaucracy, and so that is not fun in real life. And I want to see if it's fun in a game.
Oh man, probably not though. Hey, I love it. Ryan.
I'm Ryan, obviously. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm here because, like I said in the chat, I'm here for Lauren playing Ben Wyatt, but also mostly, I also really like those mundane moments and things, especially aggressively mundane ones where the characters are clearly better than this to some extent, but they still have to fire the paperwork on time. And also, while I'm being crushed by bureaucracy in my day job, why not also fight monsters in my free time while being crushed by the bureaucracy? I'm used to it.
That's so good. And V.
Yeah, I'm V. I use she, her pronouns. I'm here because I'd like something to add to my CV. Love any opportunity to practice time management and prioritization skills in a good team context. So I'm excited to dive right in.
Oh my God, I just realized how much this initial question sounds like the start of a job interview. Oh, I am all about this. Okay, beautiful. So let's talk about Monster of the Week. Actually, second question, if anybody would like to put their hand up, who has played Monster of the Week before? Wow, okay. Ryan, do you want to run it? Because I haven't.
I've only played once with Tyler, and then you don't have to do much because he knows that system. So
yeah,
no, it's on you, dude.
All right, too easy. So I don't know the system that well, but we're all going to work together. We're going to be a team. So let's talk about our cats, because cats are fun. You are a small team of monster hunters. You've been hunting together for a while, a few months or so. You've been killing low-grade monsters like werewolves and shit. You live in the kind of world, the kind of city where like monsters happen all the time. But for some reason, everyone in the entire city either ignores it or like explains it away. Very like Buffy, but set in the middle of Sydney CBD, I think is kind of what I'm going for with that. But you're not a high schooler with high school obligations. You're an adult with bills and rent, and that means you're working for Hexco, a multinational, multifaceted conglomerate. The kind where no one really knows what the company actually does, but it seems to be everywhere. Also, it's a bit of a weird coincidence that all the monster hunters work there, isn't it? The company must be shady as fuck, is what I'm saying, but not in the way you could put your finger on. And for whatever reason, you really need this job. This game is kind of a little bit about it's kind of got three parts. One of it is like, oh, there's a mystery, something's hurting people, I wonder what it is. And then it's, we know what it is, I wonder how we hurt it. And then the third one is like, let's do the action scenes where we go and hurt it. And I'm not sure what the layout is going to be. Different people do that in different ratios, so we might find different levels of that in our game, which is exciting. Yeah, does anyone have any questions at the end of
Yeah, I've got one.
Yes, go ahead.
Where do we get to the bit about how transporting a fox and a grain of and a bag and stuff across a river? And all those other corporate team building exercises.
What we're going to do is we're going to get the company motto, and we're going to get you to write what these words mean to you. So I've got diversity and integrity. And you got to do it on butcher's paper with those big texts. So our aim at the player level is twofold. One is that we're here to solve a mystery and see a cool short story unfold based on our decisions and stuff, which is super cool. And our second aim is to kind of like to keep like juxtaposing this doldrum bullshit of office work with the action-packed monster hunting bit. As characters, you have an agenda and everything. Your goal is to stop a monster that will cause damage to people and hurt them. I have a countdown, and I'm a huge fan of pulling triggers if you fail. So this chat is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan of pulling triggers if you fail things. So like I will destroy this city if you guys aren't good hunters. So your agenda is act like a hero, make your own destiny, find the monster and stop them, and play your characters like they're people. Actually, as we're talking about this, I'm going to put the link to the Google Drive in there, and I'm also going to put a link to our playbook sheets, which I should have done earlier. And edit. Does anyone have any questions about AIM at this point? Oh, wonderful. So Tone. Okay, Tone. Monster of the week is... Oh, sorry, I just sent you the keeper reference. I meant to send you the whole thing. Maybe it did send the whole thing. Okay, here we go. Link sharing. Anyone with link can view. Let me share the link.
I have a question about our aim. Do we have any corporate aims?
I think you do, but I think we'll figure them out. So one of the things that I was interested in, and I kind of went back and forth on, I'd love to hear what you think, is my understanding is that this monster hunting stuff is not something that the company like employs you to do or wants you to do or recognizes that you're doing. It's something that you guys kind of do in your own time. And so I imagine the corporate aims are dependent on like where you are, like what your job is at the company. Lou was talking before about like running a creche, which is super cute. Link sharing information.
I have a suggestion. When you say like we work for the same company, but we also hunt monsters, I feel like it's totally that thing where someone put up a piece of paper in the kitchen and was like, hey, like, I'm interested in doing this thing. Who's interested in joining? and that's because that totally happened all the time at my work. People had like
But
squash.
instead of signing up to bike to work or something, it's would you like to hunt monsters on the weekends?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I would. I have nothing I'm doing on the weekend.
And most people ignored the sign because they thought it was one of those. It was like an ad for Hillsong or something, and it was going to be trying to trick you into going to church.
Yes.
It's like hunt monsters, get fit, find fulfillment.
Totally. I can see that now in my bind on the wall.
Contact Joe from compliance.
Well, man, there's going to be. I love that. I love the idea of it. Which does go contrary to the extracurricular club, like the official extracurricular club. Haley, do you want to like leverage for that as an idea?
No, I'm all good with this.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. So to answer your question there, V, do you have corporate aims? Yeah, I think you need to keep your job, so you'll probably be tasked to do stuff that monotonous stuff that you don't understand, but I don't think there's... Is that Monster Hearts? Damn it. Oh, man, I'm having such a day.
I mean, we could kiss the monsters, but that's a different game.
I'm done with that game, too.
It's because I was underwater before, so it's made all this very difficult.
Kiss monsters, get fit, find fulfillment.
Okay. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I'm a professional, as you can see. Okay, that's definitely Monster of the Week that I sent you. Wonderful. Yeah, Tone. So, Tone, Monster of the Week can be a really dark horror game. I don't like it as a dark horror game. I think it's more fun when, like, you as the hunters are being glib and having one-liners and all that sort of stuff, but like me and the world is like trying to maintain almost maintain a serious tone against that. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I like that kind of. I mean, Buffy is kind of like that. Like the characters are real, and there's like they have real lives and shit, and there's real consequences for things. But there's also like cool action shit and like backflips and stuff. Kind of like Scrubs is the like medicine version of that, I guess, where it's funny and it's a musical sometimes, but it's still super touching and real at times.
I love it. I think that's a perfect explanation. I should have written that down for next time we talk about this. I think the only thing I want to put out is that I don't want the backflips and the glibness to be dismissive. I don't want you guys to be like, but if this city gets destroyed, we'll just move to another one. Like I do want it to matter to you in some way, I guess.
I was thinking more that you're cracking jokes about the terrible bureaucracy because you need your paycheck from it versus because it doesn't matter to you. Sort of humor we have around work.
Mm-hmm. Or you're wishing the monster is your boss and you're taking your rage out on it like a pinata or something.
This werewolf can't top my last performance review. Now that was terrifying.
Absolutely. And subject matter. It's a game that has like death and violence and stuff. Personally, my hard lines are that I don't want any of the violence to be sexually coded. That would be super nice. And also, I'm really trying to avoid the idea of fridging, which, if anyone's not aware of what it is, fridging is the full term of it is stuffing women in the fridge, and the idea is that especially women or children get hurt just to give other characters motivation, basically. Like the suffering of women and children is plot device, which is something I'm really trying to avoid in this system. Because it's an unfortunate trope of a lot of horror stuff. Does anyone have any other subject matter stuff they would like to talk to or would like to put in the chat if you feel more comfortable, whatever works for you?
For me, probably things that or probably I probably want to veil. I don't know if we're using veils or not, but things that I probably want to veil would be torture, and people, or like things, violence against others for the purpose of fun, like somebody getting enjoyment out of inflicting pain on somebody else physically.
Piggybacking on that, I was going to say that one of my ones that I don't always raise, but always kind of in the back of my mind is violence is okay so long as it's not cruel. But yeah, kind of the same thing Haley's getting at, I think.
Yeah. All right. I really like that because Haley, that's really similar to mine as well. So that super works for me. And yeah, we will use those. I was actually just about to go into specifically about violence and that sort of stuff because Monster of the Week is a game that in the text says that it wants to be very like descriptively violent. It wants to be like really it wants to like get the horror across of like, you know, you see the bloody corpse with the head missing and the tongue is still there or whatever. Like it wants to be like that kind of not necessarily gruesome but certainly visceral. How do people feel about that, I guess?
I probably won't personally do it. I don't know. I tend to picture everything as a Miyazaki movie in my imagination. So the violence is like everything's like a cartoon to me a little bit. I mean, that like anime can be confronting, right? At times, like there's still like,
Spirited Away.
I don't know. I tend to try to describe stuff in a more poetic.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Way than like courage. No.
Oh, courage.
Yeah, rather than a heaps like blunt, visceral thing.
Okay, I really like that. That'll be.
But
a
I
nice
do like getting frightened by other people doing it, so it's like.
All right, cool. Well, I guess while we're still talking about the wants and the wants and the veils and stuff, X cards always valid. You all have played with me at least once where we've spoken about X cards at least, and also if you want to use script change, I'm bringing it more and more into my games, which is your pause, rewind, fast forward, which I think I've spoken to all of you about except for Lou. Which they're just you if you're not aware, script change is basically the idea is instead of having just one button, which is the X card button, which says this is bad, like we stop. Instead, you've got the idea of rewind, which is the retcon, pause, which is let's just have a quick chat about this before we go any further, and then fast forward, which is kind of like veiling, as in like let's skip over this bit. The other thing is feedback, like positive feedback mechanisms, which I love. Guys, you've got chat. You're all really good at just keep telling each other when you do good stuff because it's awesome and it encourages really good stuff, and I love it. I played a game with the US crowd and they don't do that as much as we do, and it's sad. Sorry,
I have a thought too. I feel like script change would be super good for this game because if it is violence is often something that you can take to a point and it gets too much. So I think being able to sort of say like pause, or even I think more what I can envision happening more often is like fast forwarding over some violent stuff. So I think script change will be useful in this case.
Yeah, I highly agree. I super agree. So that'll be cool. We'll try and use that. And then we have the options for safety breaks and stuff, and also regular breaks. So we started at 6:30. I'm going to try and fit the first break in at 7:30, but we'll see how that goes. Now I'm going to talk about wants after this, which is stuff that we do want to hit, which kind of links back into that first question that we talked about at the start of this. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about the won'ts and veils before you move on? Cool. What kind of stuff do people want? I want, so personally, this is for me. I want you guys to feel like, I want your characters to feel really like lower middle class stuff. Like I want you to feel like you need to make rent. I want you to feel like you have to get to your job. Like you don't have the resources to just take a day off if you need to. What about y'all? Anything else? Everyday life's a good one.
I just really want this to feel like an episode of The Office or Parks and Recreation, but with monsters like this. That's all I really want. So if we could, yeah.
Yeah, just real people dealing with dehumanizing bureaucracy and also having human goals on the side. And then monsters.
Yeah, I'm excited about the monsters too, like having cool like mysteries and situations. I'm sure that's gonna come out, but I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I'm interested in like what Haley said, like of having that third kind of thing. Like there's the work stuff, there's the monster stuff, but we do get to like have a look at what the character's life at home is like as well, like why they're at the job or whatever they're, like that's another pressure as well.
And like their commute and like, you know, like maybe like micro moments in their life just to see what they're like for a little bit, like as well as the other stuff, just for fun.
I really like micro moments. I'm gonna have to try and hit that. That sounds really fun. And that seems like something that'd be fun to like flash forward and back to and stuff like that. Like just awesome.
Yeah, awesome. It's making me think that it could be like I don't know about the mechanics of this at all, but I do like that when something really scary is happening for somebody to like flash back to, like, oh no, I think I left the oven on at home. Oh shit, it's raining. Like I wonder if the rain's all coming in like on my bed or something.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I love it. That sounds good. Oh man, that's so good. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to have to live up to this. You guys are really gonna have to help me out with this. And the other thing I wrote down is that I don't know if you guys know Muse's Mercy, but I feel like that's the theme song to this show, which should capture like the early 2000s bullshit that it is. Yeah. Does anyone have anything else before we move on to characters at this point? Cool. I'm excited. You're excited? Great. Cool. So I've linked you to the Google Docs folder, which has the playbooks in it. I also sent you a thing earlier that I was gonna ask us to limit the playbooks, more because I wanted to get that everyday life mundanity rather than have someone be, a blessed godchild that could, stab the sun with a sword if they chose to.
Unless the godchild has been sentenced to serving as an intern for 100 years or something.
Which then, brings up that question. So there's some playbooks there. We're looking at like expert, the flake, the mundane, the professional, and the spell slinger. And I did say that if people wanted to be the monstrous Lauren, they could do it. And but yeah, have a look through it. Has anyone had a look through and picked one that interests them?
I was looking at, is it the mundane or something? I think it might have been.
Yeah. So the mundane is the person who like doesn't belong hunting monsters with the others. Like the others all kind of have these cool skills and stuff, and the mundane is like, nah, I just rock up. And like, what is it that drew you to the mundane, Lee?
Just because it seemed to be the one that meshed with the little bit of an idea I had about the child care worker corporate thing the best. Like, yeah.
All right, I really like that. So Lou, in the you've already got one there. You're doing the orange one. That's cool. I was going to say pick yourself a color and start filling some stuff in. I would ask you to, because I'm going to post gen this as much as I can so that we can kind of move forward. What I'll get you guys to do is, if you want to do like your name and your look and stuff, and like maybe your stat blocks, which it's got the list there, because they're like because it's one selection from a list of 5 stat blocks. If you wanted to pick one of those, and then we'll do all the other stuff. We'll do the introductions, we'll do the moves and stuff as they come up in play, which I think will be great. Anyone else had one that's been drawing their eye?
I mean, I also like the look of the monstrous, but I'm not going to fight Lauren for it because Lauren is too nice. And also, that was a side one, so I was going, may not even be allowed.
No, it's all yours. I can't even remember. Like, I had this real weird idea for it about like the I can't even remember what it's on about. Yeah, it's all yours.
So the only requirement I'll put on the monstrous is that you like generally are passing as people. Like you still work in this building.
Yeah, I was totally thinking like fairly recent vampire who's going, oh fuck, when you're staring down eternity, you really need a good retirement plan. And corporate bureaucracy is the only recourse. But yeah.
Yes. I mean,
I killed Sid.
It was just too exciting.
Oh, I think I remember what it was now. I was thinking I think it was the monsters, and then the people they responded to were like the management committee, and they were the ones sort of controlling the monstrous. I think it was like over the idea.
Yeah, I'm super curious about your monstrous idea because I'm like, oh, it's probably amazing.
It was essentially like let me take my. It was like a cathartic way of taking my shitty boss and making them into a monster of the week character. So I was like, he was literally a monster. Like, I would make him into this playbook, and I was like, yeah, this fits. So like, that was that idea for that character.
Yeah, I'd like a throwaway monstrous idea as well of just like a guy that's like looks pretty human, but like is like way too big for his tiny office chair, like Mr. Incredible style, like like huge man, tiny chair.
I love
but it's
that.
not a character
Yeah.
concept, so it's all yours.
Now I'm like, I want to see everyone's monstrous. Like,
We
if
just all
we
play
just be
the
a team of
monstrous.
monstresses and a mundane, that would be amazing.
That would be pretty hilarious. Does anyone understand what the archetype is around the flake?
I feel like it's sort of conspiracy theorist type of person who's just like super paranoid and like I feel like that's what it was when I read it.
Yeah, it's sort
Right.
of like the question in the JLU series, if you've seen that, where it's he's right most of the time, but he's so aggressively weird. People are just like, okay, but he's on his bullshit again. Let's ignore everything he says.
Oh yeah, actually, it's also giving me strong like Dirk Gently vibes. If you've seen Dirk Gently's holistic detective agency.
Can't say I have.
It's a
Yes,
good
I
series.
know popular media.
Yes. Haley's about 100 years behind in terms of popular media.
Oh no, I'm so torn. It'd be so cool to be just Dirk Gently in this game.
I'm going to.
But no, I'm
I'm ashamed to admit that I know almost nothing of that besides that it's a series. And
Okay,
that
maybe-
I occasionally see gifts from it.
maybe I won't use it as a touchstone then.
You surprise us all with your originality that's completely ripped off.
Yes. They do with most things. I guess for Ben Wyatt, I was thinking kind of like that, like the expert nerd kind of person who's just studies a lot and is read up on all these things, but hasn't really like taken any of their knowledge into effect.
Only one who read all of the manuals.
Yes, exactly.
So my roommate kicked the power board, but it's okay. I'm back.
Yay,
I'm
you're back.
and I'm alive. What did I miss? How much fun did I miss?
I think I'm going to go for the Snoop.
Sorry, V, what was that? You're going for
The Snoop.
the Snoop?
The Snoop.
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 Did I get that from somewhere weird?
Oh no, I see. Cool. Cool. Yeah, Snoop's cool. It's one of the playbooks like that was released out of the core, but it looks pretty good. I'm on board. It looks mundane AF.
Oh man, there's more.
I actually didn't know these existed until I looked for the this file today. I was like, oh yeah, cool. So what interests you in the Snoop V?
I like that it was super mundane, and it's not so much that you have extra ordinary powers, which I like. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still building my character right now, but it sounds like a good place to start, as opposed to some of the other ones that are just super like, I'm the destined.
All right, sounds good to me. I dig it. It sounds like it's on tone. It sounds perfect for us. So we've got Lou. Ryan, you're going with monstrous. I think that's where we're at when I left.
Yes, if that is okay with you.
I trust you. I believe in you. If you ruin my game, I'll kick you out. You're
That's fair.
You're a waitlister anyway. I don't need you here. You're a luxury.
I sneak into the game and then I pick the one you're not supposed to pick. I'm a terrible player already.
You are. No, you're the best. Lauren, have you got a plan B? Have you got something in mind?
Yeah, I was thinking expert nerd has read all the manuals, has not super strong, has yet to take a lot of this knowledge like out on monsters, but it's all in there. Just waiting for an excuse to bring it out.
Perfect. That sounds perfectly expert. If you want to, and the expert's super fun too, just as a character to have in the game. So yeah, if you want to pick a color and start filling your stuff in, more than welcome to. And Haley.
They are all so good, but I am leaning towards the professional. I think. Oh, can you guys hear me? I just changed my game. Still
Yep.
audible? Yes, sweet.
You good?
I think I will be Joe from compliance. I mentioned in passing earlier.
Oh, that's so good. Okay. So what has interested you about the professional and about Joe from compliance?
I just am very interested in somebody who is very procedurally oriented towards monster hunting. I'm very concerned with following the correct methodology. I don't think they're like a super flashy, super competent like commander type. I think they're much more like a they're just very prepared.
That sounds perfect. The professional's also got this cool move where you can deal with the agency and request gear. So that sounds like a really cool move to have in this company as well. The ability to like request stuff from Hexco's weird archives. Awesome. If you want to pick a thing and throw some information in, please do. Now, with that out of the way, we should probably start playing some Monster of the Week. So what I want you guys to be aware of is be aware of what moves you kind of can pick from, because as we go, if you stumble upon a place where you want to have taken a move, essentially. So, for example, just because I've got it up at the moment, Haley's professional gets the basic moves plus 4 professional moves, with one of them being deal with the agency. Whenever Haley's like, oh, I super want to help someone escape here, so I'm going to take the leave no one behind move now. And then that way it just basically stops us from having to make decisions about what the game will look like before we know what it's looking like. Does that work for everyone? Sound like fun? All right, too easy. Well, okay, so let's go around. I want to get a 30-second. I want to get like the thinnest possible bit of your character. Like I don't want to know a lot of detail. I don't need to know like what stats you've taken. I don't need to know your moves or your gear or anything like that. What I need to know is like the concept, the character concept of your peeps. And then we'll go around and do that, and then we'll take a break and I'll do a quick bit of prep in my head, and then we'll start with a mystery. How does that sound? Dope. So it started with Haley last time. We're going to start with V this time. V, can you please tell me about actually? Yeah, Vic, can you tell me about your whatever playbook you took?
Snoop. I think I'm like in my mid-20s. This is my first like job, and I'm sort of like it's so boring that I've already started trying to make, my real dream of passion of being a YouTuber. So I'm trying to become famous by having a Monster of the Week YouTube show, as well as doing my corporate job.
Oh, that's so good. Do you have a character name at this point?
Not yet, but I will think of it's probably like Ashley or something like that.
Okay, brilliant. There is so much support for you in chat right now. Cool. Ryan, you're up.
So I also don't have a name picked quite yet, but I'm definitely in that kind of could be late 20s, maybe early 30s, kind of ambiguous. It's kind of ambiguous how long I've been that age because I'm definitely not a vampire. I mean, I just don't eat the food that they provide here or anything because I have a very particular diet and I'm weird about it. But I work in accounting. I'm really good with numbers and a little bit obsessive about things, and I'm not very cool in general. And I think that's my general pitch.
I love it. That's perfect. Work in accounting, good with numbers, not cool, vampire. Lou.
Hello. Okay, I think I've got quite a lot. So I'm playing Link, who I wonder how old this guy is. I think he's almost 40. And he's working in like the I'm picturing this evil company has like really good childcare and like organic vegetarian like cafe, and you can bring your pet to work and stuff. So like that seems like a nice place to work. So he's gone to work there, even though it seems like it's a bit of a sellout to do it. And he has a van, and he's in a band as well. And he's probably mainly working just to like try, so he can go on tour with his band.
What's the band's name?
Let me get back to you.
Okay. There's definitely an episode where
that
they
the name
do
of the band? That would be a good band name.
Let me get back to you. Yeah, the band is called Let Me Get Back to You.
There's definitely an episode where they play the opening credits song. Lauren.
Yeah. So I've got a name for my guy yet either, but I think he is possibly in his 30s. I think he sits up. I think he's also in accounting, and I think he sits opposite our not vampire accountant, like across her like sort of. I picture it's like one of those sort of open plan office areas, so everyone could like watch you to make sure you're working and stuff. And I think he resents the not vampire a bit because the not vampire has like the better seat in the office, like they can kind of angle their computer a bit so you can't quite see what they're doing in their spare time, whereas this guy has everyone on his computer screen, which is like really unfortunate because he often spends his time like googling stuff he shouldn't be googling at the office, like the appropriate angulature of a steak and like the type of wood that is preferable for taking out certain undead species and that kind of thing. He just is like a huge dog nerd, and I think he probably also has like desk ornaments on his desk pertaining to that. But his other true love is accounting. He's just like really good at it, and yeah, I think that's my guy. I think, aka Ben White from Parks and Rec. So yeah.
Oh my god, that's so very amazing. Haley.
Yeah, so my character has a name and not much else. They are called Zhang Zhou Chung. No one in the office knows their Chinese name though, except the other Chinese person in the office. They work in compliance, and they've automated about 75% of their work. So most of the time when you look over at them, they're just like leaning way back in their chair eating a protein bar. But if you ask him any question about anything like happening that's extremely administrative and like detailed in the entire company, he probably knows the answer. And he has a genuine like passion for compliance that's hidden deep beneath a like neutral and congenial veneer.
Oh my god! So he didn't automate his work out of like derisiveness and wanting to not work. He did it because it was the most effective way.
Efficiency complying with compliance.
Oh man, I'm having the best day already. You all having the best day? All right. Why don't we take a full tan? That takes us through to 7:30 and gives me some time to prep up and think stuff. What I would kind of like you to do in the break is obviously chill out and enjoy yourself. But if you want to go through your moves, you want to go through like your introduction section and like think about how the other hunters relate to you, and will effectively generate that in play. But if you want to have a think about it beforehand, that might be helpful. Yeah. All right. I look forward to it.
All right. See you in 10.
Catch you in 10. Oh my god, Lauren. The standard of this game already.
Are you happy or sad?
I'm so happy. It's like I'm happy and also very aware that like we're really lucky in the gauntlet that we don't have like this the GM is responsible for everything at the table culture, because you guys are bringing so much heat. So much good heat. And then I'm kind of sad because I think you got chocolate and I don't. And that's making me a little bit sad. So I might hit 7-Eleven after this.
I do have a little bit of chocolate.
Oh. I'm so excited about this because like I did prep for the first time in a long time, and it's crazy. It's crazy to have prep stuff and to see characters and be like, oh, this will work.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
There are bits I immediately removed. That's fine. It's okay.
So good. So what's like what play was it play to find out what happens?
Play to find out what happens.
I'm just like really keen on seeing like awkward office inappropriate crushes happening.
I feel like we shouldn't be playing Monster of the Week. I feel like we should be playing Monster Hearts or something. Imagine Monster Hearts, but instead of being teenagers, so you can't express emotions, you're in an office, so you can't express emotions.
Yes, yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I'm totally picturing like this macro moment at the office where it's like the awkward like chat at the water cooler kind of thing with someone you put an office crush on.
Yeah. I have a feeling this is going to go very much like Lady Blackbird and like jump around in chronology and be everywhere.
Hello.
Hello.
Which is good because that was a good game. So. Lou, I haven't played with you in forever. I've missed you so much.
Same dude.
I'm worried that you've been gone, that you didn't need me anymore, that you had soccer now.
I just accidentally just didn't have any games for ages, and now I tend to like be in too many and then none.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I roll. Just like my life in general. Like everything, and now I can't do anything anymore. It's overwhelming.
All right. Everyone back and ready to go?
So, housekeeping sort of question. I know it suggests that vampires pick feed, which is the you gotta eat people, but would something like vulnerability to garlic or something be an appropriate curse as well?
Yeah, man.
Right, instead or something versus it seems like chomping people is tonally inappropriate.
Yeah, absolutely feel that. If you don't want to chomp people, you do not need to chomp people.
Just because that's going to be so hard to explain to HR. So,
so do you just are you just sustained off like nothing? Like, do you just you don't need to feed or anything? You're just wholly immortal and.
I think I probably do need to eat blood, but I'm totally cool with there being like, and I got a buddy at a blood bank, and a lot of the donations aren't actually usable or something, or it doesn't need to be a thing unless we want that to be a thing.
Yeah, no, I dig that. You're sustained off calzones. You and
I'm not gonna eat calzones. Calzones are the worst. I don't know why you keep bringing them up, Dick.
They're the best. They're convenient and delicious.
They're weird. It's an inside-out pizza.
Oh my god, that's gonna happen to me a lot in this game. So, Dick, let's talk to Richard Dyer, our expert. As you know, Hexco employees are allowed 30 minutes of lunch away from their desk per day. Your group has found we're finding you in this opening scene during your lunch break. I guess Monster of the Week is a super cinematic game, which is kind of what attracted me to it. Our camera like pans over this city, this beautiful city, and we see this hexco building, which is like hexagonal building that towers into the sky. And around all the other buildings in the CBD, as we kind of zoom back from it, we see 5 other hexco buildings, and they're kind of laid out in a hexagon around the city. And we see people in this kind of midday period who are enjoying their lunch break in parks. We see children running through the streets. We see men and women buying coffee and heading back to their desks. And the camera kind of pans down and travels through the ground and ends up in a giant cavern, a perfectly circular giant cavern. And Dick, you've brought the group down here to hunt a giant worm. My question for you at this point is, this giant worm, how does it track its prey?
Good question. So my dog's being a pain as well. I think it tracks its prey through vibrations. Like they're kind of weird bat worms. So like you've got to be really cautious and quiet and not make too much sound.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like as you tiptoe over this dirt and you like hear clumps of the dirt break underneath your feet, who's in the lead of your group?
I think leading this has got to be. I feel like this is going to be Nessa. Like Nessa needs to get the best shot of what's happening, right? So like she can't have any of us in the way, like ruining her her video footage.
Nessa's walking backwards, so like you guys are all here and I'm sort of facing you. That like sort of green night vision filter on the phone.
Oh, that's so good. Please like and subscribe and hit that bell. Lauren, if you want to go to your playbook, you've got an introductions section. Do you want to pick one for Nessa and tell me that as you look over to Nessa, what story do you think of about the time that you spent together?
I think. Ooh. I think they once helped me get a singular item that is now part of my haven. Since, like, yeah. It says, and then it says tell them what it was, but I'm also open to, like, if you have any cool, like, YouTube-related ideas. Because, like, I feel like while Ben is very studious, like, he is not super up-to-date on, like, youth culture and, like, cool things. So you feel like a really cool young person. You can probably, like, help me out with that kind of thing.
With something cool?
Yeah.
And so it has to be something that helps. What kind of item is it?
Oh, yeah.
I gave you something that...
It is an item, a singular item that is now part of my haven. I picked my haven. It's like a lore library.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Expert's Haven is like Giles's library in Buffy. It's like the place where they've got all their stuff, and you can always find them there and that sort of stuff.
So it's like a library where you have all your books and that sort of thing.
It could also be like an electronic library, like some cool like PDF books, or like
videos of other like cryptozoological things.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be really cool to have. All I can really think is some sort of like pen light type device.
Yeah, that's awesome. They do a lot of reading in the dark.
Yeah.
That's so good.
I want to try how that's useful though.
That's totally useful. I feel like I probably have it in my pocket with me in case like we're down here in this like really dark cavernous area. Who knows when I'm gonna need to pull out my book? So it's totally like the front of my pocket and with my pocket protector.
Yeah.
Given Nessa's thing as a Snoop, is it one of those pens with like a light and also records?
It's probably multifunctional. Yeah. It's one of those one that records like only a 30-second like
30
bite.
second voice clip. That's so good.
You can
It's very dangerous.
repeat.
Also, like note to self,
Yeah.
blah blah blah, kind of stuff.
And then it's full. I love that. So Nessa, as you're walking backwards and like
Mhm.
filming yourself and that sort of stuff, what do you see behind the group that tells you that the worm is nearby?
So as we come this way, in the darkness, I sort of see like something moving along the grounds, and like I freeze for a moment, and it's like the ground where everyone's trodden over is sort of it's like sort of dry dirt that's sort of cracked now, and seeping from each of those cracks are all these like earthworms, like bleeding out of it and bubbling out of it, like a wriggling mass of them coming out of the ground where you've
Super
trodden.
creepy. I love it.
Like-
Oh, that's so good. Okay. So I guess my question is, who in the group, Nessa, are you most worried about right now? Who do you think is most likely to get hurt down here?
I mean, I'm really worried about Killian, to be honest.
Yeah, sure.
You know, the shoes that they're wearing are like probably like those really nice leather shoes that are like pointed or that sort of like buffed up, and I'm like, I know how much those cost, and in this kind of dirt, they're not the right thing to be wearing right now. You know, they're gonna get scuffed up. I'm like, this guy's just not going to make it through this day at this rate. Like, should have been watching the YouTube 10 things to wear, 10 best things to wear on your first monster hunt.
So
Killian
good.
doesn't watch YouTube on the job, so he wouldn't know.
And therein lies the problem. YouTube has 2 times speed, you know, there's no excuse.
Do you want to V, go to your history section?
Yeah.
And do you want to pick one for Killian? And actually, while we're here, we should do it this way. Ryan, do you want to pick one for Killian back into Nessa as well?
Ooh, okay, that's exciting.
We'll clean up the one that we missed there, going back. So I guess like as you're walking backwards and you see the shoes, you guys make this fleeting moment of eye contact, and in it there is this unspoken history.
Yes, I have one that's sort of perfect. You have a crush on them. Ask them if they've noticed.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's like vampire glittering skin.
Can I double down on that and say that I'm romantically accepted with them, ask them if they know and if they reciprocate? And the answer is, I have totally not noticed Nessa's into me, but I'm so into Nessa.
This is so good.
What was your question? Was it that I've noticed or not? Oh, sorry, I missed the end of your...
Mine is that if you've noticed that I'm into you and if you reciprocate.
Ah. I think I've noticed that you're into me, but I haven't reciprocated yet. Because I'm trying to play hard to get or something.
Yeah, clearly I need to make the first move, and I'm just
planning
not
the
getting
move.
it.
So I have noticed. And I have a crush on you, but I haven't let you know that I've noticed.
This is so perfectly amazing. So Killian, the earthworm tracks, and when I say earthworm, it's like capital E earthworm. You're in a cavern that is literally carved by its body, moving through the earth. And sure, it's probably killed a couple of people here and there, but you guys are probably more concerned about the fact that it's going to destabilize the city if it keeps carving out these pathways. We know that it tracks its prey through the vibrations. How are you avoiding, or how are you and the group avoiding being tracked by it as you walk through its home?
I think we made sure to travel not right by, but sort of close to, like, a subway tunnel or whatever it is that this city has as transport, where there's bigger vibrations where ours won't really stand out. So if it's listening for vibrations, it's not going to notice us.
Perfect. And who in the group messes it up first? Who in the group does the first big vibration? Like,
Can that be me?
I was going to say, can it be Lou?
absolutely be Lou.
Yeah.
I
think how Link does it is he's trying to watch one of Nessa's videos, the one that she was just like hissing about, like 10, what was it? Like 10 things. Like
10 things to wear on your first monster hunt.
10 things to wear on your first monster hunt, and he's trying to like just catch up on some study, so he's got a headphone in, but I think he does something like gets his elbow caught in the headphones, and so it pulls the plug out and it just starts like blaring the YouTube video like out into the like cabin.
Oh, that's so good. That's amazing. You just see that.
And he's like, he's like trying to plug it back in. And
so as like Killian snaps over to look at what the noise is and sees you, can you guys assign a history question to each other as well, please? So it's Killian to Link and Link to Killian. Sorry, I'm still trying to get your name straight in my head.
A lot of mine are really adversarial because I'm the monstrous, but I kind of, if it's okay with you, like the idea that we're close relations or something like that. I mean, it says or distant descendant, but that doesn't make sense given that I'm not that old.
Yeah, that's kind of.
If we're related somehow, that would be entertaining.
Yeah. I was thinking of choosing the. I've got one that I'm a little bit suspicious of them, maybe due to their unnatural powers or something like that. So I'm like, but I like that combination of being.
I've got it too tough,
like,
and I'm an accountant. So.
So what's the relation? Or the relationship?
I wonder if maybe could you be like I wonder if I could know your secret, like maybe I wonder if you were like you're in family photos of like like in my family, like
oh yeah, like I'm that cousin you only see at reunions, but I haven't aged over the last 10 years of photos or something.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I like that. Yes, that works.
So sorry, Killian, are you aware that Link is suspicious of you? Or I guess
I don't think I'm smart enough to have hidden it very well.
I'm totally unaware that that's why, because yeah, I mean, like, we're related, but I can't quite remember how, and like I don't see him very often, and he kind of gives me a weird look, but maybe that's because I don't like go by the creche often, although I don't have kids, so I don't know what it is. I mean, there's something there. Who knows why?
Oh, that's so good.
Cool.
Amazing. And Ryan, if you're finding them adversarial and you bump up against these, please feel free to change them as much.
Yeah, some of mine are like, they tried to snake you once, and how does that make you feel? And I'm like, well,
yeah,
it doesn't really make sense here.
Yeah, I trust you, dog. You know what you're doing. So, Lou, Link, what is the worm going to do to you if it does, or now that it knows you're here? What are you most worried it's going to do to you?
I think it's probably the classic take me back and feed it to its babies. Think it's got some sort of like nest somewhere that it's gonna like. But maybe I just think that's what all monsters want to do to you.
Ooh, I got some
Either
news
that
for
or
him.
impregnate me with its spawn.
Oh no, that's what I've got picked for the monster later. So no. So I think that's perfect. I think feeding you to its babies is perfect because like it's got a nest. Because as soon as your like iPod or your phone, sorry, becomes unplugged, and this noise plays, and the ground starts rumbling, you look over. You like snap your eyes over to Joe. And you see that where Joe is standing, they are like this deep, like just up to the rim of the scuff of their boots, deep in these earthworms that have been bleeding out from the ground. And as the giant monster worm rushes underneath you towards that vibration, the ground that has been pushed up by these worms breaks into pieces, and Joe plummets into the nest below. And as you look at Joe, can you have a look at your history for me and just sort of make a connection there? And Joe, if you can pick one back for Link, that'd be wonderful, please.
I think probably the most appropriate one that I've got is you got sent to deal with them as a hazard to the agency's policies one time. The agency is literally the compliance department. It sits within Hex Corporation, but it has its own objectives, goals, and hierarchy. And I think Joe went to the creche after there was some discussion of some of the unhygienic things the children did getting leaked out into the general office.
Massive gastro outbreak.
Some head lice. And I think he just went in there with a clipboard. That's the one. Clipboard with a checklist on it, and looked and made disapproving noises and ticked things. Like, that is the intimidation classic tactic of the compliance department. Like, that's how we scare them.
There's always people coming into a childcare center and ticking shit with folders. I probably didn't even notice that it was a different person. I think I'm gonna choose I think probably I saved their life from a monster due to an unlikely chain of events. Tell them what. So I think this was in one of our early monster hunting forays. I guess it was probably a werewolf or something. I think it was just one of those it's something that I got the credit for, but the werewolf was jumping at you, and I heard another noise and suddenly turned around and hit it on the head and off balance it, and it fell, off the building that we were on or whatever. And I haven't told anyone that it was an accident.
Right. So I think when Joe went into the childcare center, it was sort of like, "Hey, Link, buddy, just gotta tick some boxes. You know how it is. You know how it is.
You're gonna know how it is." All right. So we find you, Joe. Can you describe for us, Haley, what does Joe look like in his normal office situation? And then I'd love you to contrast that with what does Joe look like when he's buried in the nest of earthworm babies.
Yeah. So ordinarily, Joe looks like a fairly fit, late 20s, but who knows what his age really is. Asian man with like a careful haircut, a very conservative tie, and a well-pressed jacket. Sometimes he takes the tie off just to show that he's cool too. But not always. Maybe on a Friday. When he's being devoured by a mass of earthworms, he's got like this like outer like leather coat that he wears, but it's like a white leather coat. And it's like essentially like it's like a cushion against impact. And it was like one of those impulsive eBay purchases that turned out to be really good for monster hunting. And I think like his classic maneuver when he's like in a situation like that is to just like stick his head into the coat, like undo the zip a little bit where he's got like turn on his head torch, which is wireless, and sort of shine it through there and try and like work out what's happening and why there's wriggling all around him and he can't move.
Oh man, that's so good. That is so good. Okay. So I mean, you may have just answered it there, but I'll put the question to you anyway. Joe, you land in this nest. What do you do? Is that what you're gonna do? The coat wiggle?
Yeah, he's gonna do the coat wiggle and like press the button on the like communicating thing that like sends like a alarm signal to everybody else, like you know, attention.
Oh, good. So you're gonna make some noise. You're gonna like create some vibrations.
No, I mean, yeah, it probably would create vibrations, but I doubt it would be like an. It doesn't go attention. It's just like a.
Oh right, it's like a red.
Like I think it pages to people's phone, which is like Joe has sent an alert. Joe is in danger.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, I love that.
Joe would like some help.
I love the idea this is like an app that you guys have coded onto a phone or something. That's amazing. Okay, cool. I am super about that. So who can I drop a good connection? I think let's go to character name Link. Link, you were looking at your phone. As you like finally connect it back in, you just get the Joe needs help. Like Joe is in immediate danger. Text comes through. And it probably comes through like 8 times in a row. It's just like dun 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 dun.
Well, I've pretty much just seen it happen too. Like I was picturing myself at the back, and I know it's because like I fucked up as well.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man. So
what do you
Joe
do?
has fallen into the through the earth.
Yeah. So you're in this like. If we were to zoom out on this, you would see it's like a cavernous structure of like interweaving tunnels that are made by this worm like chewing its way through the earth. And what's happened is there's one of them is where the nest is, where it would take you back to. And you guys just happen to be walking across the top of that when you made your noise. And this worm is like, as it's come towards you, has weakened the ground enough that Joe's fallen through.
How far down has Joe fallen?
Oh, what's a fun distance? I'd say it's probably like if you were to lay on your stomach and put your hand out, and Joe was to put his hand out, you would be a dramatic distance away from each other. Like, you know, just this far.
Oh, okay, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I think I mainly motivated out of worry that I'll be kicked out of the monster hunting group. I run along and dive on. Shush, porridge! I run and dive on the ground and slide along on my portly stomach. And I think who would be the closest to me? I'd probably yell for Dick to grab my legs, and then I'm gonna hold my nunchucks down so that Joe can grab onto them.
Hello, Ellen. Yeah, cool. So I think this is going to be an act under pressure move as to whether you get this done in time.
Sorry, everyone's being really.
Alrighty.
How does helping work at this game?
Okay, good question. Good question to ask. So I was going to mention that when
They're just waving. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Family's important. They're super cool people. I was going to mention it when we got to them. So harm works in a couple of ways. You have a lot of harm. You've got like 8 boxes or something like that, and you take somewhere between 1 and 4 harm from monsters. 1 to 3, you're okay. After that, you become unstable, and you will get worse as time goes by. There's not basic moves for getting rid of harm. You can rest and stuff like that, like between sessions. But if you want to make someone better, like you fictionally have to like go to a hospital or go to a haven that can handle that. The only other thing that happens is you have a pool of luck points. So your luck. Sorry?
I was hoping for help.
Oh, help. I thought you said health.
No, yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. So how does help work? Good question. It probably works the same as every day.
So I just want to. I wonder if I'm helping by like if I'm Dick Dye, which is totally sounds like a porn name and he knows it. Like grabs Link's feet if that's helping him like scoop up.
Yeah.
Joe.
So
if you look at the basic moves, there's a help out move. It's probably
cool.
It is a help out move, which is +1 on a 10+. So roll plus cool. On a 10+, you give them +1 to their roll. 7 to 9, +1 to the roll, but you expose yourself to danger. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. The only thing I'll mention while we're here, while we're talking about mechanic stuff, is you have a pool of things called luck. If you want to spend a luck point, you can, and you can change a roll that you've made to a 12. Or you can set harm that you would take to 0. Like you can ignore harm that you would take. The problem is luck is what keeps you alive as a hunter. So once you spend all 7 points of luck, you are doomed. You will die. It's you handle the curse. But happy for you guys to burn through that as much as you want for now. And doom yourselves. So where we're at, we had Link laying on his stomach with helping the nunchucks out. Porn stash, Dick Dyer. What were you doing to help? Sorry.
Oh, I was grabbing my colleague's feet and acting as some kind of like counterpoint to gravity.
Absolutely. And Nessa, what like tool do you have that? Do you have like a tool that helps you track the monsters at the moment?
Track the monsters.
Or like, I wonder if you would have brought some sort of like tool that helps you.
Yeah, I probably have some like I don't know, like a little box that sort of like has one of those like radar blips kind of thing. That's essentially the readout. And I myself am not very sure what technology it uses, but it's called like monster wave technology. And it's better because it like has the rsync. So you get like 30 milliseconds instead of 50 milliseconds response time. Currently,
that's so important.
Exactly. And in that moment, there's like a bleep, 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 bleep. I imagine that's sort of coming from a direction under us to the side.
Yeah, it's probably like it seems like it's coming from like a couple of different directions. Like it keeps like blipping here and then like here and then back to here and like moving around really quickly.
Oh, good. Yeah, Nessa's like, okay, so I have to finish my video. I'm saying, oh no, one of my colleagues has just fallen into the hole, and I think we're about to see some action. So it's Nessa catching you later. Like, subscribe. I'll do a review of this once I've had a chance to use it. And then I will stop my stream and then quickly run over and tell everyone about the fact that there's multiple blips.
Why do you stop your stream in the best part? That's
It's
so
not-
good.
It's true. I'll have to get back to it, but it seems like it's going to be troublesome with my hand for now.
Right. So, Lou, if you haven't picked stats for Link, please do so now. And the same for yourself, Lauren. If you haven't picked stats for Link, please do so now.
But on the stat breakdown, is it like +2?
So have you got the playbooks there? Have you got your playbook there?
Yeah.
So the stat. Oh, sorry. Are you? What are you asking for when you say stat breakdown?
That's the stat lines. Like what are?
Cool. So the stat lines is Apocalypse Worldy in that under on your second page you've got one that says ratings. Pick one line.
Oh, I see.
And
cool,
you pick
cool.
like a block of them.
Thanks.
And then whenever you're ready, I have a roll for your party here. And Lou, if you would like to roll 2d6 and add your, I think probably cool, and Lauren the same, 2d6 and add your cool.
Are you happy for me to roll real
I'm happy
black
for you
dice?
to no, I don't trust you. You lie to me. Please do what's comfortable for you.
I got, what stat am I using? Sorry.
Cool, because you're trying to keep your cool and act under pressure.
Okay, that's an 11. So I'm surprisingly cool.
Dope. Lauren, I do want to get your help anyway, because you're now fictionally involved. You can't minus it, so it'll still be a full success.
Okay, I got a 7.
Cool. So you're going to get some trouble or danger, which I'm okay with. So, Lou, do you want to talk us through it?
So this is just I'm succeeding at sliding and okay. Yeah, so I think we get that. Actually, I'm kind of picturing Joe, like it's Joe in the worms, hey? Yeah, cool. I'm picturing Joe starting to like get quicksand down into the worms a little bit. It's like, and then yeah, maybe I originally try to reach and we do get that cinematic like like hands almost reaching, but then he gets sucked down further. Then I pull these I pull like one of the nunchucks out of my bag. It probably hits Joe on top of the head quite hard, and he's like ah! And then but manages to like, yeah, then I think I'm pretty much like quite helpless at that moment. I'm just like, okay, like pull me up. But I'm probably yelling and everyone's like quiet. I'm like, oh, it's like trying not to yell.
As you do, Lauren and Lou, I don't think you guys had a history connection earlier, did you? Do you guys mind doing a history connection for Link and Dick at the moment?
Toes. I think this is a bad time for Dick Dyer to remember that he hasn't been doing like arm day or whatever at the gym. So while he can hold Link, he's not super sure if he can pull him up again.
I think the nunchuck like smashes the wireless receiver on Joe's like headlight, and it just starts like blinking different colors. Like the LED activates, and it's like blue, red, yellow, blue, red.
So good.
Yellow.
I think I definitely have to choose. They introduce you to the existence of monsters. Tell them how you feel about that.
Oh,
so I think it was that. Yeah, like I answered the ad in the like cafeteria or whatever, and I guess maybe turned up super early and was just like regaled with all of this like crazy spiel about monsters and stuff, and like so monsters are kind of semi like people know there's monsters in this world, right? Or some people do. But I think maybe I was probably mainly interested from a songwriting perspective. I'd come along to like just get some like cool ideas and like stories for stage banter and that sort of thing. So now that I'm actually involved in it, I like feel like you've gotten me into something that I'm like way over my head and out of my comfort zone.
Nice. That's perfect.
That's so good.
Because I was thinking they are your like student apprentice or ward or something, which is like totally fitting for for this relationship. I think in I think like for Richard, like he probably looks at Link as like that kid in high school that he wouldn't have gotten on with very well, and like probably like I don't know, like Link probably doesn't bully anyone, but like maybe Richard like just didn't get along with that kind of kid in school. So like this for him is kind of like bridging that gap of high school to adulthood, where he's like, I can be friends with this cool kid. I can show him the ropes, and like we can be friends, kind of thing.
Oh, it's so good. So good. So there's a cacophony, and as it sounds like the world is being torn in two, you are pulled back, Link, from the edge, gripping onto the end of your nunchucks as Joe. And as like, I guess like most of the worms would fall, like a couple stay stuck to your cuffs or in like the inside your shoes. And the next time you put your feet on the ground, Joe, it's just gonna like squish and ruin your business socks. But you realize that the one of the reasons that you were pulled back so sharply and violently was that character named Dick. How can I forget Dick? That Dick was like thrown across the room by a worm exploding out of the ground. This giant worm, and the monster wave, guys. The monster wave is just a single tone at this point. It's just like a dee as it explodes out. Lauren, Dick will take 2 harm as you like impact the side of the thing. If you want to spend a point of luck, one of your 7 points of luck to mitigate that, you're more than welcome to. For context, 2 harm is like, you know, it's a good punch. You'll get over it with time.
I think I'm okay taking the harm, but I definitely want Dick to wheeze out like Jiminy Crickets or something like that when he gets hit.
Oh no, Dick, are you okay?
And he's like, I'm fine, but he's like fully winded and he can't talk.
Now I need to let me think. Let me think of who would be fun. We don't have a Killian Joe connection at the moment, do we? Okay,
No,
I want that.
not yet.
Joe, 2 questions for you. What weakness of because one of the things about Monster of the Week is that all of the monsters have weaknesses. If you're not using their weakness against them, you can't hurt them. So if you shoot a vampire, you achieve nothing. If you put a stake through its heart, you kill it, right? So what is the weakness of the worm that you have told Killian earlier? And then we'll get a history question for you guys back to each other.
So you can't like cut the worm because then it just regrows. And God forbid somebody cut the worm and we end up with 2 giant earthworms if it gets bisected in the middle. The way to destroy the earthworm is to spray it with like pesticide that's been like enhanced.
Like, oh fuck yeah!
Like that's like Killian's probably got it in like a fire extinguisher bottle.
By the way, a fire extinguisher bottle which has like property of Hex Corporation, 2nd floor, do not remove.
Compliance accepted.
It's got its compliancy tag on it that it's been checked.
It's been properly checked out.
So can I get in each direction for you guys a history question, please?
think it would be so cool as well to like flashback of like Joe's like making this anti-pesticides, like trying to make homemade kombucha for like weeks in preparation.
Yep. I imagine with like a lot of bottles that were stolen from some like chemical research division of Hex.
What happens when you automate most of your actual job?
The guy needs hobbies. They're important for the CV.
So, again, pending approval and everything, can I say that it's one of them is the tied to your cursor origin, tell them how, but I think it's more that you're totally aware of my cursor origin and compliance wise, you're prepared to, neutralize me should that be necessary. It's sort of like you're prepared for everything should that be necessary.
I love it. And I will take the one on my list that sounds like it was that one, which is they're on the agency's watch list and you've been keeping an eye on them.
Oh, it's so good.
And also, like, as part of that, I think, like, you've been required to attend meetings that just pop up in your calendar where you had to fill out additional paperwork.
I love the agency. I can't wait to learn more about them. And I really look forward to it.
I love the idea that realizing that a vampire works for you means extra paperwork. Fill it out in triplicate.
So what do you do, Killian, as this worm explodes out of the ground in front of you, throws Dick to the side, and you alone are carrying the fire extinguisher of pesticide?
Oh no, I've got to rise to the occasion. I need to spray this thing with pesticide extinguisher.
You can just, like, if you just spray it on the side of the body, is that okay? Or do you need to, like, get it in the mouth or in the worm butt? Or, like, is there a... Or
did Joe tell me that there's a specific place I need to spray it?
Yeah, absolutely. What did he tell you?
I think it was the side works, but if you can get it like in an orifice, that's better.
Yeah, all right. So what do you do? Do you go for the side or do you go for the orifice?
I'm totally gonna go for like the mouth, butt, something. I don't understand worms. I'm not a biologist, but there's got to be like some kind of opening at the front of a monster worm.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, I think it's like the worm like breaks through, throws Dick to the side, goes through the side of the wall again, and then like loops around. And as it's coming back towards you, do you want to kick some ass? Do you want to roll a kick some ass?
I want to kick so much ass.
You can do that as long as you don't kick some dick. That's the other move.
No, that would be mean because then we have to sit across the desk from each other, and that's gonna be so awkward.
This game is so fucking stupid. I love it.
I, despite having a really good tough, only got a 6.
That's great. So do you want to spend one of your luck points to make it a 12 plus or a 12? Or do you want to take the failure and mark some XP?
I'll take a failure because spending luck on my first roll seems a little excessive.
All right.
And I'm not good at things.
Okay. So monster moves. Okay. All right. So I'm happy to. I think what I want to do at this point, because this was just kind of like I think this is our cold open for the scene. So the next, like, the shot that we see is Killian dispenser, I guess, that black dispenser from a fire extinguisher, angled up, thing in hand, pushes the button, and as that happens, like, the worm just swallows him. And then it's a cut to the introductory theme song played by, I'll get back to you on that, like jamming out sweet 90s metal, either that or Muse's Mercy. And we see like the character introductions. And I fucking love this. It's one of my favorite things in tabletop. So I'm going to get you guys in on this as well. As it cuts to you guys and does the thing where it's like, Dick Dyer as the expert kind of thing, and like shows your character's thing. What's the scene or two? What's the shot or two that we see of your character? And I think I'm going to start with, given that you were just swallowed, let's start with Killian. What's like the scene that it cuts to of you as in the intro credits of this show?
I think it's a scene of Killian sitting at his desk with like fidget cube in one hand, smoothie bottle in the other hand, and someone drops their papers and he immediately has to go straighten them up and recollate them because vampire obsessiveness.
That's so good. So good. Lou, if you love it so much, you can get next. What you got?
I think it's a image of it's a scene of Link like stage diving off of a stage, but it's like just at an RSL club or something, and
it's like 3 pensioners in the audience.
Yeah, and he just crushes some like old people and they drop him on the ground.
Oh my God.
Oh no, Polly.
That's my everything. Haley, what's our intro scene?
You see Joe in his perfect suit and he's drinking a protein shake and looking at his phone while he's walking, and the phone is like Star Wars limited edition Stormtrooper helmet sale, and like you could like he swipes on it and then it's like monster alert, and he looks up and chucks the protein shake over his shoulder.
Oh my God, Haley, you're so perfect. V, what do we see of I'm trying to let Nessa?
It's like Nessa's like taking these perfect Instagram shots of like some coffees that she's picked up, and then you see the like cut to the office and she's like giving the coffees out to all the different monster hunters. And Killian's one has a little heart on it, but he doesn't notice because he just puts his hand over where the heart is.
Oh my God, I love how early this show is getting into the romantic tension. And Lauren.
Oh, it's gotta be Richard, like in his like basement area that he's carved out to practice monster hunting. So he has kind of like the bandana thing going on, and a lot of like makeshift like bags with like sandbags with like vampire faces on them. That he like practices stabbing and stuff. It looks really like makeshift.
I love, like, when you said the bandana, I was like, oh, I can see this. I know this scene in my head for sure. And that is and you know, the 90s like half thrash metal like fades out. And so the question, Ryan, for Killian is, are you going to spend the luck or are you going to take 4 harm?
I'm gonna spend a luck because that is a lot of harm, even though I get to negate one of them by being immortal.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good thing, because 4 harm is like you're on the way towards dying. 3 harm is like, hey, you'll make it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, there's a move I could take that would reduce that further, I think, but that seems a little bit over cheaty.
Oh my God, that's fun. I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, I will totally spend a luck.
Great. So when the scene cuts back to Killian, and we're going to stay with you for this juxtaposition, it's going to cut back to you like walking in the office door after this fight, maybe still with a fire extinguisher, maybe not. Like, this is you coming up from inside the worm, up out of the caverns, walking back in because your lunch break is over. What does it look like?
I think we see him walk in the door of the office, and he's just covered in worm guts and stuff. And clearly something went down, but we don't know what it was. And he's got this fire extinguisher. It's also covered in worm guts. And we see him like duck into the bathroom and then come back out in a clean outfit that he clearly stashed there because this keeps happening. And once again, it's the not quite tailored, but clearly trying to look stylish, but it's not really hitting that. And kind of goes back to his office like, yep, that was my lunch break. Great.
Oh, that's so good. And from the other four of you, while this camera like follows, so it's going to be this long take where Killian like walks through the offices, maybe upstairs, maybe through lifts, whatever, up to their desk, up to his desk. What I would like from the four of you is what do we see as the camera follows Killian that tells us something about Hex and about the corporation and what they're about. And just like don't worry about order, just jump in when you kind of feel ready to drop this bomb.
Can I start?
Yes.
So I think we see Killian kind of walking down this like long, super bland looking hallway, and there's all these various like notices along the hall, and I think maybe one of them says something like we wish to welcome our new staff aboard and to remind them that attendance at work every day is mandatory.
And it's like that like soft like summer flowers voice that comes across telling you like come to work or we will hunt you down.
I think we also pan past like a conversation overheard happening in the office, and it's like two women, and one of them looks like super pissed off outside of one of like meeting room 3C, and she's like got her arms folded, like staring at the motherfucker in like meeting room 3C, who like she booked it on Outlook. It's her meeting room for the hour, but no, like Tom from fucking accounting is in there. He's not even having a fucking meeting. He's just there on his laptop. He doesn't even need to meet anyone in there. What the fuck is he doing in there?
I think as we see Killian like continue to walk past this lady, and up the next set of like stairs, he's getting into the floor where like the slightly more important people are, like accounting is like a central function and stuff like that, rather than the shit kickers down the bottom. And it's like set up to be like glass and open plan to have that like atmosphere of like, hey, we're all here together working. Everyone can see each other, glass and open plan. But then like as Killian walks past, some of the glass, just like the occasional bit of glass, is actually not transparent. When you walk past it, you can kind of see that.
Oh, that's so good. B.
Yeah, and when I guess Killian turns like around to sort of where they sit, the camera lets them go past, and it kind of comes like rises up to like the even higher level where you suddenly get like the really, really nice corner office with like city views, harbor views, and like an extremely important old white dude is on his like big wooden table, and he's like, yes, I think that would be a good idea. And I don't know. Then it cuts. I guess it just cuts to Killian on his crappy desk, less nice desk.
Yeah, absolutely. And Killian, as it cuts to you, like as soon as you sit down at your desk, the woman that you passed and tried not to make eye contact with, who was arguing about conference room 3C, who was arguing about conference room 3C, she appears at your desk. Like she has followed you back to your desk. And as soon as you sit down, she slams her hand down on the desk and she goes, Tom, I booked conference room 3C.
And Killian jumps clean out of his skin at this. Like he hadn't noticed that she was following him at all. And
she's just like, Killian, this is twice he's done this now. Can you tell me? I want to kind of go to. I'll go to you, Haley, because I think you'll have a really solid answer for this. Pressure's on. What is like the worst thing about Candace?
The worst thing about Candace is when oh my gosh, she's really into these new health smoothie remedy things, but when she's done in the kitchen, she never cleans the tea strainer, she never cleans the like little shitty blender thing, and it just smells like like death kale.
Death Gale. And she looks over you and she like cradles your face in her hands, Killian, and she's like, oh, you look lifeless. She says, you've lost your spark, Killian. Have you been drinking the smoothies?
I gotta pick up a smoothie bottle. Like, yep, every day. Getting those smoothies.
Is there anything in the
Nutrients.
one that you're holding up?
There's like a little bit in the bottom. Like if I shook it, you could hear a little bit of slosh. But
Yeah.
Clearly I drank it over my lunch break or something. I mean, why are you being weird about this?
She's like expectantly waiting for you to drink the last of it.
I chug a bit of it. It's totally not actually smoothie in there, but yes, it's an opaque bottle. It's a smoothie. It could be kale. You don't know.
Yeah. Oh my god. Lou just put the best thing in chat too. Corporation dishwashing fairies on holidays. It's washing dishes. I can't. Oh, it's my favorite. Yeah, and when she like sighs and she pulls a chair up next to your desk and she just sits in it. Like she sits down like she's in it for the long haul. And she just says, I don't know why they even take bookings if they're not going to hold the conference room, and just like starts talking. And I want to cut away from Candace and Killian to who's going to get in the most trouble for coming back late. I think compliance is going to have something to say about it. Which is to yourself. Man, I came off the page. Nessa. Wait, no, sorry, Joe. Joe's in compliance. Sorry, Joe. When you get back to the compliance officers, as you walk in the door, you realize it's been 31 minutes since you left for your lunch break. What do you do?
Joe tries to play it cool. He shakes a shake like he's just been to the gym. And as he walks in, he greets everyone. Hey, Freddie. Hey, Edwin. Just like extremely self-conscious.
Lauren, can you tell me what is it about the compliance officers that tells us it's the compliance office? Like, what is it about them that makes them stand out from the rest of the corporation?
I think that's the only part of the office with like a legit industrial shredder, because they have to shred a lot of shit. Yeah. Sorry, that was really mundane.
No, that was fucking no. Mundanity is part of the tone we're hitting. That's awesome.
It also means you have to go and like avoid eye contact with them when you need to use their shredder, and it's totally the office shredder, but it's also their shredder, so they don't like it when you use their shredder, even though it's like everyone's shredder. Like, what the fuck?
Yep.
And I think like when Joe gets back, Joe realizes he has to shred some shit. Like that's the first thing that he has to do, but it makes a lot of noise. And so he just picks up this small pile of paper and like walks over and it's just like. And the shredder says the time. It's like it's 12:31, starting shredding, and he's like,
and like no one's even typing. The rest of the office is deathly silent. In fact, it's probably so silent because Edwin, who you kind of say hello to out of habit more than anything. But as you you realize that he's not at his desk, and he probably wasn't there this morning either. I'm not sure when the last time you saw Edwin was. I guess a question to you, Joe, is Edwin, is anyone in compliance the kind of person to just not show up for a day?
Those people don't stay in compliance long enough to not show up for a day.
Yeah. So like I mean, I'm still all about this scene of you shredding in a silent office. And Freddie not making any noise at all.
And Joe just being like, got some shredding to do.
Mhm.
Shredding some things. Just doing some shredding. It's like he's super nervous. That's why he's saying these things.
I can't keep rhythm. I keep breaking into laughter. This is great. I've laughed more in this game than I have in every game up until now combined. It's so great. Yeah, so he like looks at you and looks at Edwin's desk and then just like shakes his head slowly with like this, I'm the only one around here that's carrying their weight kind of sighs really heavily, and then you hear like after the sigh you just hear the click clack of him going back to his keys.
Hey.
Yeah, I want to cut away here to I gotta see this. Oh, actually, let's pause here. Do you guys want to take a quick break, and then we'll come back, do an intro scene with one or two other characters, and then jump into full mystery? Does that sound fun?
Sounds good.
Cool. Can I just do a check while we're here? This quick pause. Is everyone enjoying it? Does it feel like a tonal fit? Is everyone having a good time?
Definitely having a good time.
I have never felt more prepared for a game in my life.
All this is making me realize how bureaucratic childcare is and how similar to all of this shit it is. So that's kind of good. I'm not totally out of my depth.
No, you're not. One of the things I'm really interested in is like how this childcare is going to be bureaucratic. Like, I think it's going to be so interesting. Yeah. All right, cool.
Awesome.
So 8:36. You guys have to come back at 8:40 or 10:40, whatever you are, Lauren. Cool. All right. See you in 4 minutes.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, V. Can I just say how great it is to play this game with you right now?
It's really fun. I think everyone's characters has been so wonderful and like really exciting to see where all the relationships go. And like, I think it's so good. Like everyone's characters are so strong. Like you just can imagine that person like I've worked with this person before, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's I love. I don't know. I love it so much. It feels like this really interesting kind of story, and I don't know whether the monsters are going to end up being the B story to this whole thing. Which, like, we're doing these like little office scenes now, and I'm like, maybe I should throw monster stuff at them. And I'm like, no, let's just enjoy this for a minute.
Trying to find the good stapler is a really difficult task.
It is, and I don't want to minimize it.
Yeah.
Like every single office I've been in has had like a good staple problem.
Yeah, it's like you have to investigate the mystery, read the bad situation, ask some people to help out before you get the stapler.
That's right.
Yeah, and my office got a new stapler, and when it ran out of staples, no one knew how to change it, so it went without staples for like a month, and then I went to use it, and I was like, oh, why doesn't this work? And then someone was like, oh, we just don't know how to like put staples in it. I was like, I'm with people with like sort of 40 years of experience and have worked in Australia's energy regulatory sector for 50 years, and they're like, we can't staple our documents because we don't know how to change the stapler. And I'm like, so yeah,
Google
that's to me.
So cool. All right. So I think what I want, and I'm happy to like, this is what I want as a player, not what I want as like a game runner thing. I think I would like us to, like, as I said, roll through these, and then probably try and like kick off some mystery for the next session, which just may feel a bit discordant, but I'm okay with it. Maybe there's one more scene I want to do in between. Oh, it's cool. Does that sound like it works for everyone? Is that pacing on point for everyone? Cool. Okay, so the creche, as you approach it, I want to hear from, and I think I want to get everyone involved in this. But Link, as you walk up to it, I'm going to hear from everyone else. Can the four of you give me something about this creche that is both shows that Link, as the creative and motivating force behind this thing, really cares about people and about children and animals, and also shows that it is part of a giant faceless corporate bureaucracy that doesn't care about people? Can you give me like one of each? Start when you're ready, or I can point to someone on the spot.
So I think like the creche has like bathrooms and stuff, right? And the corp, like the corp labeled them like sort of, here's the boys' bathrooms and here's the girls' bathrooms. And then I think what's happened in actuality is like, I think fuck it is probably not like safe language for kids, but there's probably like a sign over each that sort of is like whatever you want.
Oh, that's sweet. Have you got an idea, V? Yeah, you do. Go on, go with it. I believe in you.
So I like the idea that there's like a bunch of toys that, you know, they can play with, but they're all like things like calculators and like highlighters and other bureaucratic implements, and like little desks with your plant that you get, the one plant you get on your desk.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so good. I love the idea that the kids play at desks. That's so good. Haley, have you got one?
The creche is like entirely inside, and it's on like the first floor of the building, so you can kind of like, and you can see like below it is like a garden, but the kids can't get to the garden. They're like on the side of the screen, those window, being like, oh, there's green stuff out there. And I think the windows like aren't openable at all, but like you can see a spot where somebody's like jimmied over, open like just a little slit so that a little bit of natural air can kind of flow in.
Yeah, I can't imagine which one of you, Link, got that like window cutter, like the the burglary circular window cutter. Ryan.
If it's okay to piggyback a bit, I think that the toys are largely desks and highlighters, but under a Link's tutelage or I suppose permissiveness, the kids have used the highlighters to decorate the desks, so they're all pretty and exciting, and there's like flowers and sunshines drawn all over them and stuff, and corporate would not approve.
I was muted before. I wasn't muted before. This place has definitely got more color than anywhere else in the company. Even in like what are they called? Like think pods or whatever they're like those little meeting areas where people like sit on bench seats. Even those that have like one matte color, a think pod will just be purple. This place is vibrant and alive. And Link, what is it that you see as you walk in here that like makes you feel like this is where you should be? What is it that reminds you that this is why you work here?
I'll totally just steal something from working in childcare. When Link comes back to the there's all the child gates and stuff that you've got to like get through and like stuff. But as soon as he comes back, all the kids are like out playing, and they're just like, leg! And they're all like run up. They're all like hanging off his legs while he's like walking back into the thing. And I think he's super awkward. He's like, oh, just like okay, just wait. I'm just trying to come back from lunch. Wait, hop off. And he's like trying to come through, but he's secretly like super chuffed that they're all really happy to see him.
That's awesome. Far out. My little heart's swelling. That's so cute.
And can I do the horrible corporation part of it?
No, please do. Please do. I wasn't going to punish you with it. Yeah.
He walks back in to sign back in again, and there's like obviously a big sheet where everyone's been signing in and out, and then pulls down a list of about 47 different chores that he has to do in the next 1 hour, while he's also looking after the children, and various incident reports and stuff that he has to fill out, medication that he has to give to children, nappies to change, cleaning to do. It's just like a huge list. And then he's like, fuck.
Can you tell me about one of the kids? Can you just pick one of the kids and tell me about them?
Yeah, there's this one kid, what will his name be? Called Miles, that on Link's first day, he stabbed him under the eye with a shiv made out of a crusket, a homemade weapon. And it's the closest that Link's ever come to crushing a child in his long childcare career. He's like, no, wait, you're not allowed to crush the children. But since that moment, they've become he's totally Candace's kid. But since that moment,
sorry, I'll just do a quick a pause rewind on that. Not having be Candace's kid because I got plans for this.
Okay, cool.
I got plans for this kid, and their parent needs to be more sympathetic than anyone could be about Candace.
Cool. And I think, but since then they've become it ended up being a bonding experience, mainly because I think Miles probably expected Link to crush him, and when he didn't and just sat down and talked to him about it, it was all cool, and now they're friends.
That's so sweet. This video is just gonna be me laughing at chat constantly. Oh fuck, I love Azpax. You guys are my favorite. Okay, cool. And so I think we probably see as a final shot as you come back in, and you probably look a little bit dejected looking at this list of work you've got to do. And Miles comes up to you and he offers you, he's made one of those, those flowers that like you fold up and you can do the things with. He's like made you one of those, and he like comes up and sort of presents it to you. And that's probably the shot that we cut away on. I'm really interested in what part of the company Nessa works in. What's Nessa paid to do?
Nessa's probably like an office assistant. Like she's like the office manager's assistant. So she has a range of ad hoc tasks, mostly low-level, menial, boring tasks. But sometimes she gets to walk around the city, take pictures of things, come back. But mostly it's very boring.
Can you tell me about the office manager? Can you pass me a name for them?
Yeah. So the office manager is called Sandy. And Sandy's kind of like an older woman, quite warm. So not quite a good boss, I guess. I'm okay with Sandy. It's just some of the stuff she gives me to do is really, really boring.
Absolutely. Killian, what's the office rumor about Sandy? What gets said about her over the coffee pots?
She was up for a big promotion and got passed over, and she's not... I mean, she's sulking, but not hugely. Sort of her work is tapered off a bit in the wake of this. At least that's what I hear in accounting. She's not in my area.
I'll tell you what, even just a little bit of work tapering off is enough in this place. Get you in real trouble. Haley, with Joe. Oh man, I've got two questions I want to ask you, and I'm not sure which one I want to ask about. I guess I'll go for the obvious one, which is who did get the job over Sandy?
I think it was a woman called Tabitha. She is transferred in from the Denmark headquarters. Only was in the wherever we are headquarters for 2.5 weeks before she got promoted. So the rumor is that she only like that the promotion was planned before it should have actually been announced.
Ooh, that would have ruffled some feathers in compliance, I'm sure.
Well, if it was compliantly planned before it was announced, it's okay.
There are protocols for that.
We're looking into it.
So, you've been late back to your desk before. What does Sandy usually say when you're late back to your desk?
Sandy's quite nice about it, I think. So sometimes I cover for Sandy, and sometimes Sandy is like, "Oh, I know you just get it. You know, you were in the back of the line for that coffee." So I was getting quite comfortable with that, but now with Tabitha in the mix, it's really awkward, and now I have to try to like sort of. I think she's the one who's going to come down hard because we don't have like a set repertoire, and it's a little bit uncomfortable. Like Tabitha is like, just looks at her watch sort of as I come in. Doesn't say anything, but.
And so as you come in this time, Tabitha's desk is empty. Sandy's at her desk, and she's like facing away from, probably like facing towards the window, so you're not able to like see her face, but you can tell from her countenance, from the way that she carries herself, that she's like upset about something. And when you come in, she doesn't like. I imagine you probably have like a separate, like your office is physical. Yeah, she does not notice that you've returned, and when you get back, there's no notes for you. There's no tasks at your desk. There's nothing for you to do. And I guess the question is, what do you do when there's nothing for you to do?
So I think firstly, Ness is like, I don't want to like intrude. So she like sits down, sort of plays a round of Minesweeper on the computer, and then gets up, makes a cup of tea, and then on her way back with a cup of tea, so she's like, oh, okay, maybe I should say something. As she comes back in the second time, she says, Sandy, how's it going?
Just gonna have a quick one. She you can hear her like stifle cries, like little sobs, and she says, I'm fine, thank you. And like as she turns around to see, you can see her eyes are red. She's been crying and like for quite a prolonged period. Like her eyes are blaringly red. They're it's aggressive, and she says she probably like reaches out to you, even though you're too far away for her to ever have a chance of touching you. She's physically reaching out to you and saying, please, won't you come in and sit down?
Okay. Nessa sort of like, when I hear the sobbing, Nessa's like, oh, you poor thing, I made you some tea. Puts the tea down, and then I like take a good look at Sandy, like, oh no, does not look like in good shape.
It's just it feels like you've been gone all day. It's just been so lonely here.
It's only just had lunch.
It's felt like forever. She tries to like put skin to skin. She just wants to touch you. Like reached out to you. Are you cool with her?
Yeah.
I imagine she doesn't touch you a lot. I imagine that's not part of.
Yeah, like I'm surprised, but I think Ness is quite a touchy-feely person in general, so it's not like surprising to her. So it's just weird because it's in the office context, and this woman who's my boss is super crying. So
yeah,
that's a bit weird. I'm caught off guard a little bit. Yeah, but I totally let her touch me.
And she's like, as soon as like she puts her hands on you, she like seems to relax a little bit. She says, oh, it's just working in this office and with Tabitha away today, it's been so lonely, and you've been gone for so long.
This isn't normal, I'm thinking.
And it isn't. It isn't normal. Certainly not normal behavior for her, nor for anyone. She's like, but thank you, and thank you for the tea. It's good to have a friend like you. You know, I'm really glad we're friends. You know, some people would say I'm your boss, but I like to think we're girlfriends, you and I, aren't we?
We've been through a lot, and we did go, to that cafe together a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah, we're friends.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm so glad. And
she like, all I can do to find things out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
go ahead.
One of my moves is like when you investigate a mystery by talking to witnesses, interviewing locals, or anything requiring interpersonal skills.
That sounds pretty solid. Would you like to do that? So investigate a mystery is a move that you can do, but it's also like a broader concept in this game of like when you are investigating things.
Right. So it's not really like I'm investigating right now, or is it?
No. This feels. Okay. This is a Snoop move, isn't it? So let's have a look at it. What does it give you?
I think it just means that when I roll investigate a mystery, I use my charm instead of my sharp.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, absolutely. So if you look on the basic moves, there's investigate a mystery where you roll plus sharp, you'll roll plus charm. On a 10 plus, you can ask me 2 questions. On a 7 to 9, you can ask me 1 from the list. On a 12 plus, or if you choose to spend a point of luck, You can
Yep.
ask me any 2 questions that you want.
Awesome. Okay. Let's do that roll. So I've
And
got
of
a plus
course,
2
you know
to
that
my
this
charm.
is something supernatural because otherwise we
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
be including it.
Also, Sandy's never done this before, so it's a 2d6.
2d6 plus charm. What is your charm out of interest?
Charm is plus 2.
Oh, you're very charming. I knew that
I'm
from the moment I
charming.
saw you.
All right. Submit.
Yeah. Lou, great point. The music under this is probably like an orchestral score with lots of strings. And
Ooh,
when she touches your skin, it's like da da.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, I love that I got a 6 as well for this. So I rolled 4 plus my 2 is only 6.
Mm-hmm.
So do not pass this roll.
That's okay though. Do you want to spend a point of luck to make it a 12?
I'm tempted to not. So, and then it can probably start. Yeah, get me in trouble here, Sid. Into such
Are you
trouble.
Sure? Okay. She leans over the desk to you and like puts her hand around like the back of your neck in this kind of, it's kind of an intimate gesture, but it's too forceful for that. She's like gripping her hands in, and she pulls you like forehead to forehead so that you're like right next to each other. And she says under her breath in that, and she's got this really warm kind of often husky voice, but because she's speaking so low, and you notice for the first time what she smells like. Lauren, what does Sandy smell like?
If she's husky, I feel like she smells like definitely like sandalwood and patchouli, like very corporate.
Beautiful. And you get like that. I love the sandy sandalwood because I'll remember that. You get like that that deep sandalwood smell as soon as you get close to her, and she says to you, if we're really friends, will you hang out with me tonight? And she's like, I don't want to be alone. Please. And she like presses your forehead to hers so hard that you can like feel like the skin starting to blanch
under it. I'm like,
and she's like, please don't leave me alone.
Nessa sort of just yelps and sort of like, sure, and then tries to push her away as hard as possible.
And she sighs, and like as soon as like you break the contact, she relaxes back in the chair, and she says, you have my address. I look forward to seeing you.
Oh no.
And like just with this big like contented, almost like I don't want to hit the nerve too hard, but like it's like that post-coital reaction, like it's that full relaxation as she sinks down, and she says, "Yeah, I'll see you this evening. Thank you." And then she just kind of like stares off into space. Like I don't think she doesn't have any tasks for you. She doesn't have anything more for you.
I like go back and sit in my desk, like shocked.
It's great. Thank you for that, V. That was super fun. That was a super fun scene. I think just because of does anyone have anything else they'd like to do during their corporate day as we go?
I just want to really quickly, maybe it's a very small like outtake after the credits of Link singing a song to all of the kids with a guitar. That's like the story of fighting a giant worm in tunnels underneath the building and what all of his friends did, but it's like a cute version of it. Like it's really literal and probably doesn't have a really good melody. He's like, and then I accidentally unplugged my phone and the noise came out and a giant worm appeared. Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good.
I just want to have that shot of Dirk gently coming back from lunch, and like he's got his hand on the small of his back because he's like pretty sure he's put out his back a little bit after that hit he took underground. And when he's like a bit dusty and stuff, his tie's a little bit skewed, and when he gets back, like that's when Candace is talking to Killian and she's in his chair. And he sort of like stands there for a bit because he's not sure if this is like a stop and chat or like if this is a like more longer conversation. So he stands there for a few minutes and is like, ugh, this is awkward. Like she still is there in my chair and I need to work. And so he like does like the throat clear to like see if she'll like notice him. And be like, Candace, you're kind of in my seat again.
And she probably like jumps up and pushes it towards you and says, oh, speaking of taking seats, and she leaves Killian behind and walks to your desk with you with this chair to tell you the same story she's just been telling Killian, like almost word for word. Like the beats are perfect.
Nice. And I think like Dick's he's just like nodding along, like going, yeah, that Tom, like, gosh, what a bastard. 'Cause I don't think Dick swears. It's been really hard for me.
Except when he introduces himself.
Yeah. And then I think it's like that kind of very like sort of like almost mansplaining corporate advice where he's like, look, have you tried like emailing him politely to say that like you've booked at that room if it's happened multiple times, or like have you tried to talk to him? And he's just like, she doesn't want advice, like she just wants to vent, but he doesn't quite catch that.
And I think the only other thing she complains about is that there's been like just a rash of absenteeism lately, and she's like, people didn't show up to the meeting that she booked anyway. So she's like, it's probably fine anyway. I booked the meeting for like 7 people. Only 3 of us showed up. And she's just frustrated by it.
Well, I mean, have you told Joe from compliance? It's over there by like the big shredder. You can see Joe there, like his little name tags by his cubicle.
She looks over with fear. It's probably not fear, but it's certainly like otherness when she looks at compliance. And she's like, ugh, compliance. And probably tries to play it up. Oh, Richard, you are a funny one. Go and talk to compliance.
Well, if there's absenteeism, you should probably go and talk to compliance about it.
No, that's why I'm talking to you, silly.
What can I do? I'm in accounting.
Do you want to roll to manipulate someone? Because I think it's interesting to see how this resolves.
Yeah, totally.
So you roll plus charm for a normal person, which Candace is at the moment, as far as you're aware. On a 10 plus, they'll do it for the reason you gave them. If you ask too much, they'll tell you the minimum it would take for them to do it. 7 to 9, they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show you mean it.
I got a 5.
Oh, beautiful. Do you want to spend a point of luck in order to make that a 12?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. I got to look to you guys are getting away with too many failures, so I'm going to look to my keeper moves to like to find something that I can do to you.
Is there some way I can help on that and then extend myself into it, or do you want to just smack Laura with all the problems?
You're more than welcome to help, but you would only bump it up to a 6, which is still a failure.
Okay, so then I will stay out of this and let Nick have all of the consequences.
Okay. She like leans forward and says, I'm worried that if I bring up any of the absentees, I will also get in trouble. And she mouths to you, Tabitha.
Well, I mean, how bad can it be? What have you done?
She says, all right, you're right. You know, when you're right, you're right, Richard. That's sort of, you know what I always tell people? I say, when I need some advice, I just go and get Dick. and then I know what to do next. And she pushes herself back from the table and she stands up and she like storms into compliance furiously.
And I think if she does, you get that Ben Wyatt like fourth wall breaking look at the camera crew that are filming this with a very like raised eyebrow.
Yep. And she, full of fury granted to her, she like rips open the door into compliance, the glass door, like she pulls it open, she storms in, and you hear as the door shuts the first kind of like 3 words, and she's like, right, listen here, and then the door shuts and you can just hear like the muffled bassy vibrations of her yelling. And Joe, to you and Freddie, she's like, right, listen here, I've been pulling my weight around here for too long, and now motherfuckers are taking days off. I don't care how sick they are. I don't care if they got Ebola virus. We got a job to do here, and I expect to see this followed up on. And she like walks over to Freddie's desk and she picks up a piece of paper and she runs it through the shredder. And she's like, so that's that. And as soon as she puts it through, she like realizes that's like kind of her power play. And she's like, so what are you gonna do about it?
Freddie and Joe both look at her with the same like horrified, part blank expression. And there's a very, very long silence. And then Joe hands her, like Joe reaches down to a filing cabinet, which is next to him. And he's like, oh, second last jar, no, the last jar. He like ruffles around for something, picks out like a very, very crumpled form and hands it to her. And says, if you want to complain about the compliance department, you fill out the compliance form.
And she reads the paper, and as she's reading it, you can see her getting angrier and like she's starting to shake. And as she's shaking, the paper like starts to tear down the middle, and she's like, I didn't come in here to get paperwork, I came in here to... And as the frustration kind of like builds in her, before the paper tears completely, it bursts into flame. And like the ash drops to her feet. And from outside with this like, and I imagine like it's drawn a bit of a crowd. People are like poking it. Oh no, that's right. This is one of those cities where people don't look at stuff like this. Everyone is typing furiously to avoid looking at this argument. But I imagine being a monster hunter, you're a little bit different, Dick. You'd probably be, and Killian both probably watching this. If you are, you see as the paper bursts into flame and she like looks up with this fierce glare on her face, she too explodes into like this fireball that probably like blows the entire of the compliance office outwards into the hallway. And Joe, you're going to take 2 harm from this explosion. Unless you'd like to spend a point of luck.
That's okay.
As you're like scorched over, and then as soon as it happens, it's over. And it's just like glass and scorch marks all through the office.
Joe like gets up and like dusts off his suit, and he's like, oh man. And then like takes out his phone and like dusts off the screen. And then like on the screen, it's just like monster alert. And he's like, ah.
Yeah. Oh boy. So there's a bunch of stuff we kind of could do here, but I think for pacing, we'll cut at this point. And I want to do one more. Actually, I want to do 2 more scenes quickly before we of the evening before we finish this up. That should be our last 15 minutes. The 2 scenes I would like to do is Who's it gonna be? Oh, it's got to be you, Killian. It's got to be you. So, Killian, what does your home look like when you're away from work? And by the way, this is a sharp, like, juxtaposing cut. This is like explosion. Joe picks up, dusts himself off. Scene cuts to like an external of Killian's house at night, sundown, that sort of stuff. And yeah, so Killian, what does your house look like outside and in?
Sorry, dying at chat comments again, as is appropriate for the session. I think Killian's apartment is sort of bachelor sloppy, except for like the bedroom, which is perfectly maintained. Like he hasn't used it in months. Like there's a layer of dust on the bed almost. And there's nothing at all in the fridge. And he just kind of sits down to the TV and watches, I mean, infomercials basically, because he doesn't really sleep anymore. And it's just incredibly boring in there.
And you of course hear the noise outside. It sounds like something with claws is like circling. Sorry, what kind of place are you in? Are you in an apartment or a house?
Yeah, I'm thinking like a 1-bedroom apartment or something.
Yeah, so I think just out in the hallway you hear like these claws on the carpet. You see like the what do you do?
There's a moment of not my department, not my problem, and then he realizes this doesn't work. It probably is my problem. And I'm going to, I guess, slowly open the door and peek out.
I need everyone here to help me out with this one. I need you to tell me a feature of the cutest puppy you have ever seen in your life. It can be behavioral, it can be physical. I would just like to hear a feature of the cutest puppy in your life. Because, Killian, as you open the door and look down, you are going to see a puppy that contains all of these.
Oh,
Maximum fluff ball.
Maximum? It is a maximum fluff ball for sure, V.
it has a tiny little red scarf.
Oh my god, yes. Oh, it so does.
One of those overbites, like with the wonky teeth, but it's still it's so ugly that it's cute again. Like you want to look after it.
And with the fluff and the scarf, that's so good. Lauren?
Its fringe keeps getting in its eyes.
And finally, for you, Ryan?
I mean, it's really little, but it's kind of yipping like it's a big dog, but it's not a big dog, and it doesn't have the size to make a sound that's actually intimidating. But it seems like it thinks it's scary. And
I'm going to add one as well, actually, because I really want to. After it barks, every time it sneezes, and it does that thing that it goes... yeah, and that puppy is sitting there at the outside of your apartment. What do you do?
There's a moment where Killian's sort of startled, like, why is there a dog in the hallway? And is it on to me? But then also, like, did you lose your owner, buddy? Do you need to, like, come in or something? Where he's, like, trying to communicate with the dog and totally failing to do so.
Yeah, and like the dog looks at you and like cocks its head to the side like you've shown it a card trick, and then just like takes a step forward like towards you, probably goes like between your legs into your apartment, and then just like starts like digging on the carpet.
Following the chat, I totally bought a nice dog bed last year because I had nothing to do at 3 a.m. and there was a dog bed ad on QVC.
And so, like it knew where it was, it walks through your legs and just walks straight to this bed and just plonks itself down on it. And then it probably like looks up at you expectantly and like barks once or twice. but before it even finishes the second bark, it's almost asleep, and it just settles down into puppy dreamland.
And Kellyan's like, I guess I have a dog now. That happened.
I mean, it's an option. You. Hey, if you can't get hold of your buddy at the blood bank, right?
Kellyan was totally not implying that he would drink this dog. That's rude.
I hope not.
Inappropriate.
I'm only running like a quick fiver here, but I need to know quickly. So, Nessa, what does Sandy's place look like when you arrive?
Sandy?
Oh, sorry. Actually, quick question. You said you'd go. Do you go?
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone from the monster hunting crew didn't have anything to do tonight. Like if I was like, I've got this maybe weird lead. Is anyone free tonight? Question mark.
Doug never has anything on in the evenings ever, apart from designing his new board game.
And if Nessa would you go? Like, and Nessa would like, if you're free, Nessa will text you back being like, this is address I'm going to at like this time, if you can drop by. Otherwise, new place, got to tell someone you're there. Otherwise, in case it's a scary place.
I think like Doug's initial response is like, I don't know, it sounds social. But like if there's a chance it's not going to be social, I think you'll be there.
I don't mention that it's a social visit, but yes.
So good. So what does the building look like as the two of you arrive?
I think it's quite a nice place. It's just sort of old. Like it's an old building, but it's a decently sized property. Sandy's probably got like kids, maybe a family. Does she?
Well, so Sandy, being such a warm lady, you would absolutely expect her to be the kind of person. In fact, she's probably got like pictures of kids and stuff
In
on
the
her
house,
desk
but no one there.
that you would assume are her kids.
Yeah, right.
But when you kind of arrive to the house, I think it's enough to tell you that like it's not. Like she doesn't have kids. They're probably nieces or nephews or something like that.
Yeah, could be. They do definitely. Yeah. So but it's like a decently situated place. Like it's nicer than where I live. But yeah, it's really quiet around here. But which is usually good in a suburban area. But I'm kind of uncomfortable about this. So proceeding with caution.
And as you like knock on the door and there's no one in there. Mm-hmm. There's no lights on. There's no signs of life in the house at all.
Yeah, so the door just swings open when I try it?
Yeah, I think probably as soon as you put force on it.
Yeah.
It swings open. And even from what you can see at the door, let's get everyone involved. Let's go around the table on this one. What do you see from the door that tells you that Sandy is an incredibly lonely woman? Let's start with you, Lou. If you can tear yourself away from worm orifice band practice.
I think. Can you come back to me? I've got a half-baked idea that I want to finish baking.
Sure. Bake away. Does anyone want to step in at this point, or will I make Lauren go?
I have an idea.
Oh, Ryan, please.
That she has a dining room table that would seat like 8, but there's kind of a thin layer of dust on it. Like ever since she moved in, she's never had a use for this thing.
Yes.
But she keeps expecting that she's going to entertain at some point.
That's so good. I love it.
I think on the door there's like a cat flap, but it's clearly like a cat flap from like a previous tenant. Like it's kind of old and it's like got that little like lock over it to show that like it's not used anymore.
That one's really good too.
There's like a row of Christmas cards in like the bit of the room you can see, but they're like from 2014, 2013. They're still up there.
Oh wow, that's so fun. I kind of wanted to finish on B so we could keep moving forward. Lou, are you ready?
Yeah. Damn it, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, okay. She's got I think in near the Christmas cards and stuff, there's like heaps of like this kind of like big pinboard with heaps of stuff from like high school photos and like school reports from her time in high school, and it's this thing that's made a big deal of, but I guess there's not any other like photos of more recent, like her with more recent friends or anything.
Yeah, that's really good. And V, what do you see in there that? Sorry, Nessa, what do you see in there that springs that like investigator instinct in you that makes you want to step in and look for more?
Yeah. So as I sort of as Nessa opens the door and it's really dark, she notices these details and she calls out into the dark. She's Sandy.
And
And
like
I think
it almost echoes like a house shouldn't. Like that's how empty this place feels.
Yeah, and then exactly. That's the thing that gets you. So like it does echo, and it's very very cavernous, and it's like Mary Poppins bag in there. It's way bigger.
And I think it's like Nessa said, like calls out. It's sort of Dick is holding a bottle of wine that he forgot to take the little like price tag off of, and it's clearly like not cheap, but it's not expensive. But he brought it just in case like it was going to be like a somewhat social occasion. And he looks at it and he's like, "Well, I guess that'll be more for us to go around."
And Nessa sort of grabs Dick and she's like, "All right, well, we should go in and look around a little bit. She might be in trouble."
And as soon as you step in and like your feet touch she's got a quite like well-paying job and she's got these like polished floorboards. And as soon as your feet touch the floorboards, it creaks like an old haunted house. Like it just feels empty and old and wrong, and everything about it, like, yeah, it just feels uncomfortable. And I think that is going to be where we leave this one for this week for us to pick up next time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Creepy.
Awesome. Which is a blast. And I'm super excited, and I have a lot of things, and we should probably debrief some stuff. But does everyone want to take 2 minutes to take us right through to 9:30?
Yep.
Go fill up your water, relax, whatevs, and then I'll see you at 9:30 for.
Yep. I have to run a quick.
Okay. No worries.
But yeah, I can hang out like for 5 minutes after the break.
Okay. Well, we might jump straight into
Start
like
with you.
wish stars from you, Lauren, and then we'll let you roll, and then we'll go from there. Hey.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, cool.
All right.
See you all in a minute or two. Haley.
Hello. Ellen said to send her love.
Ah, yes, Ellen Love. I like coughed and choked halfway through talking about how great Ellen Love was. How are you finding it so far, Lou?
Oh, I really loved it. Yeah, I really like the way you did the bonds. How we got straight into playing. That was really good. Instead of just like being stuck in like character creation. Like I really liked that.
Oh, thank you. That's kind. It's something I'm trying to make better, but it's hard because you got to do it differently for each game and for each not just for each system, but also for each game. Yeah, it's hard.
And I liked seeing those techniques that you were honing in on in our Lady Blackbird game, the long take and the what was the other thing that we did? Oh, the credits.
The credits.
The intro credits thing. Yeah.
Credits thing is my favorite.
Yeah, I like it how you can do like future stuff that hasn't happened in the series yet too. Like we were doing that in Lady Blackbird a little bit. Like that's kind of fun to like foreshadow stuff that you want to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, sorry, V.
I think I was just going to say that one of the good things is in this kind of like more episodic kind of like you're up exploring different mysteries, having the start be like a particular monster that was a cool scene, but then just cutting straight to it makes it more like, yeah, this is what we do all the time. And that was awesome.
All right, cool. Thanks. Yeah, cool. All right, yeah, that's awesome. It felt right to me, but I wasn't sure why, and I think you really hit it there. I don't want to keep Lauren too long, so if I'm sorry to kind of cut that off there. It'd be a great thing I'd love to explore, but we'll jump to Lauren quickly, get her the fuck out of here, and then we can all talk about her behind her back. Just quickly, is everyone happy to do debrief on stream so that people who are watching it can see how cool we are? Awesome. Great. Lauren, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here until like Kyle is ready because I'm jumping on a call with Kyle like right after this. So I can hang on until then. I know.
Okay.
Ellen.
So is everyone okay with wishes and stars as a standard debrief format? I'm a fan of it. Stars are really the important part. If you don't have a wish, that's okay. If you do have a wish for a scene you'd like to see, or something that sorry, V. I keep forgetting sometimes how who I've played with a lot and who I haven't. So stars are things that you liked, and you can give a star to people and say, this was a moment or this was a thing that worked for me that either hit the tone perfectly or was just a scene I really enjoyed or something like that. Or you and a wish is like, I'm really interested in this and I would like to see it explored in later episodes so that we can all make sure it's like a flag that says this is something that I find interesting. Does that make sense? You'll see a really good example of it because Lauren's fucking pro wishes and stars. By the way, this idea that I always get credit for stole from Lou. So I'm okay with that. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, I think it sort of like piggybacks off of what we were saying earlier, but Sid, massive shout out to you for getting so much fiction done in the station with 5 people. I was super impressed with like how much we did. And I think that was a lot of you just like your post-gen procedures and stuff and wrapping in character creation into that first initial hunt. And that was really clever. We got to see a lot of these people in their everyday lives and like doing monster stuff as well. That was super great. Super study you. And then I think like a start of the table for like hitting on tone so perfectly. I am all about like the corporate bullshit stuff and how it's overlapping with all of the monster stuff. And I'm so happy we're playing this game. It's I haven't had this much fun like playing a game ever, and I feel weird because it's like old corporate like office culture that is not particularly fun, but I'm enjoying it a lot. And then I think for a wish, I think I just sort of want to keep hitting on seeing our daily lives amidst like all of the monster stuff. I'm really, really digging like the scenes we had after lunch in the office. They were really fun. And I think I wish to see some like character relationships develop a lot more over the course of this series as well. I think there's a lot of like, because everyone here is amazing, so like I really want to see some cool like PC scenes. Those are my wishes.
That is super cool. Awesome, thank you. I have noted those down and we'll look to do those as best I can, or help facilitate those as best I can. Oh man, I don't know who's gone first and last and stuff like that. I don't think. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll go reverse order to what I did before. Haley, you're up. Do you have stars and/or wishes?
Stars. I can't just say like the whole session, can I?
You can, but then I call you a
not
punk
very
for doing
specific. Yeah, I really enjoyed the way that you started with the bonds and the earthworm thing. That was great. I really enjoyed the scenes after lunch as well. Same stuff everyone else enjoyed. Yeah. Wishes. Yeah, looking forward to us getting to chat a bit more to each other. And a bit of space for that. And yeah, seeing how we work as a team.
Cool. Thanks very much. I am very nervous about the fact that the wishes so far are like, we want to do stuff that isn't monster hunting. Like, let's do PC relationships. I'm like, shit, we should definitely be playing Monster Hearts for this. I think Ryan, you're next.
So my wish was going to be that I wished we saw a bit more about the, or well, saw something about the Dick Killian both working in accounting. Apparently, there's some sort of rivalry there. But also, I guess if we're going to look into monster hunting, then I hope that we get to see Killian leverage his too tough against a monster at some point, and that'd be a bit awkward because he's an accountant who's super tough. But, stars wise, I think I've got to star Joe in compliance for being so completely dedicated to compliance. It's awesome and I love it. And oh my goodness, that's not something we have in my day job, but I feel like I sort of know him.
I feel like I sort of know it expresses exactly how I feel about all of these things that people bring up. Like everything feels so. Yeah, I've got that down as well, and absolutely you two, like, feel free to play into that as much as you want. That's so awesome. V, do you feel happy with what this methodology is now? Are you happy to give us a wish and start?
Yeah. So stars. I love. So Haley, I love with Joe how you do play that character very strongly, and like all your weird little like I guess habitual things that Joe does is hilarious. I love that. Lauren, like I love how strong Dick is as a character, and definitely would be a great a good contender for Nessa's affections IMO as well. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, so Link, I love the fact that I think a star moment for Link is around the kids. Like I love how tenderly like Link takes care of the children. And I think that was a really great scene to show like a different aspect of your personality as well, which is really cool. And Killian, right? I love that your character's like so has these like cool edges and dichotomies, I guess. Like they're awkward, but they're tough. They're like really independent, but also now has a really cute puppy. Like it's just, I love how those things play out in your character, and that's really cool to watch. So props to everyone for being a great role-playing crew. It's like really fun just to watch other people's scenes unfold as well. So yeah, my wish is to continue playing with you all.
Oh, that's a cheater's wish, but I'm going to let you get away with it.
But the stars were so good.
Yeah, because the stars are so good. Lou, you're up.
I'm going to haphazardly throw things around. I really liked the coming that we were on our lunch break in that original like monster thing. That was a really good device because it just hooked, like really connected those two things. And because like I felt like a part of the TV audience, like, oh, this is totally like at night time and they're underground, then they just come back like into the office. That was really fun. I really liked when you suddenly asked us all to describe cute features of the cutest dog ever. That was a highlight. And a wish, I want there to be one of those classic, I'm totally ripping this off from the Detectorists, where you all have to come see my band and it's like super shit and lame and like, and you're my only friends that come to it. So that might be a good scene for like some of the interpersonal stuff to happen. Yeah, I just love playing with you all. It was great.
That's so good. That's so good. I love right. So a band scene, I think I agree, absolutely needs to happen. Yeah, I mean that's another point too. V. Like, I feel like this is kind of taking part as like episode 6 and 7 of an existing series kind of thing. So like we're not going to get to see everything. We'll just get to see. Yeah, I don't know. It's like my stars and wishes. So I have a rule this year, this 2017-18 period, to only give like 1 star in a game, which is really hard this time. Like it's really hard. And I think what I'm going to do to cheat is give it to all of you, but make it very specific. So this star is like, thank you for being able to help me with like the office stuff and really hit that tone. I was super worried that like it's going to feel too discordant. We're not going to be able to go from like the dumb office stuff is going to feel flippant and the monster hunting isn't going to feel important. And you guys have just hit that tone like so well and so on point. And it's meant the world to me because it's meant that like, I always think first sessions are a bit of a proof of concept. And this is proving to me that the next 3 sessions can really work, which is great. Wish. It's hard because, as I was saying to Lauren before, this is the first game in ages that I've actually played that has prep in it. So I know a lot of kind of what's coming. But I think my wish for myself is going to be to probably go over my mystery countdown and make stuff a little bit more active. Because what I found when you guys are rolling misses and stuff is I'm like, oh, I can pull the trigger on this one, but it's going to reveal so much, which I did when someone burst into flames. So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I think I just got to go through it with my Dogs in the Vineyard belief of like, show you guys the mystery really early and show you the interesting stuff really early. So I'll check that, but I'm really excited in what you do now that, you know, people are weirdly intimate and people are exploding into fire and stuff and what that means. So I think that's going to be a fun thing. Yeah, thank you all so much. This is such a joy. We're about to hit 15 minutes in the debrief, which is usually about as long as I kind of want to push them. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
Bye, everyone.
All right, let's wave goodbye to the listener there. We'll say goodbye, Gauntlet peeps, and then